34 points. Anything above 20 points, I'm going for a TP2. If it's under 20 points, I'll go for a TP3, because that means I'm only risking 20 points to get 60. Instead of 30 points, I'm risking 20 points to get 120. So what am I waiting for? I'm waiting for the retest of the candle, something like that. Boom, it's tapped me in at 9:51. I want to be in a trade 10 minutes or less. Faster I can get in and get out of a trade, it just works with my life, personality, works with my schedule, you feel me? TP2, TP1. So it got me to TP1 in 9:51 to 9:54. So about 3 minutes, TP1 hit.
Today we are going to be having a nice, beautiful session with my guy Keino from the VIP network. My guy gets payouts like his breakfast. He do his thing. I want y'all to see his strategy. I want him to break it down because on the channel we haven't talked a lot about the 1 minute, but he smacks the 1 minutes. Most of his trades, they like 10 minutes or less. So I'm gonna let him rock out. I'm gonna let him get into it. Y'all stay tuned. Let's get it.
So let's get into it, man. I specialize on the 1 minute time frame, but I don't start on the 1 minute time frame. I always start on the 1 hour time frame. So there's 3 specific time frames that I look at in general, which is the 1 hour time frame, 15-minute time frame, and the 1 minute time frame. So I get to the 1 minute last for the entry, but I just like to say I'm a scalper because that's what I trade on, the 1 minute. So what do I like to see on the 1 minute? I like to on the 1 hour, because that's where I start first. I like to identify structure. What is structure? So very quickly, structure is lower highs, lower lows, higher lows. So in a trend like this, where you can see it's bullish, we have a high, we have a low, which we would call a lower high, then call a higher high. Why is this high? Why is this called a higher high? Because it's higher than the last high. And then we got a lower high, which is higher than a higher low, which is higher than the last low. So it's higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs in an uptrend. And then on a downtrend, you just basically flip it. It's just the opposite of that same analogy, where we have a low, then we have a lower high, then I have a lower low. Why is it a lower low? Because it's lower than the last low. And then we have a lower high. Why is this a lower high? Because it's lower than the last high. So that being in mind, let's get into it. I like to draw out structure. For the new guys that's jumping into the strategy, if you don't understand how to do it, I like to draw it out so I can see it for myself. But right now, I can see structure with my eyes closed because I've done it so many times. So I'm just going to draw it out for you real quick as I'm explaining it. Boom, we got a high. We got the low. We got a high. We could see that price came and created a new low. Then it created a new high, create a low, create a high. This day was pretty difficult because we can't see nothing to the left of us that's immediate. We had to go all the way over to identify structure on December the 11th. So I had to draw out structure all the way over there. So I'm not going to draw it out, but I'm going to identify my areas of interest from all the way over here, and then make sure I can bring them back into today so I could use them to make some money. You know what I mean? So all of these areas of interest is basically just the highest point that price has gone to in that structure. And I'm going to explain it just a little bit more so you guys can understand it. So let's go back to the day, right? Let me draw it out for you real quick. These are my areas of interest. So I'm going to get rid of these because these are already in that area. My area of interest would be, come on, something like this. I marked off the high. Something like this. I marked up the high. I like to make my areas of interest on the 1 hour time frame purple. Why? Because I like to have a distinguished difference of the time frames that I'm looking at. So right now, this is all I see on the 1 hour time frame, and I like to make 2 areas of interest above price and 2 areas of interest below price. So below price, I can see that we have an area of interest right here, and I'm gonna explain my area of interest, but for right now, just follow me. We have this right here. I call it area of interest. Do I have something else? I have this right here too, but I'm just gonna leave it right there. So what is my area of interest? Why do I call them area of interest? On the 1 hour time frame, right? As I identified the structure, Like if I could draw areas of interest right here, we have this one where it's the low, and you can see the structure. I'm gonna just draw it over to the left. My areas of interest are the structure points, the highest point on that structure or the lowest point of that structure. I like to map out the wick of the area of interest, or the wick of that highest or lowest candle. So let me explain. If you look left to right here, we can see structure right here. When we came from the lows, we had this little high point right here. Let me just draw it out for you right here. I'm gonna draw even the candle. The highest candle was right here. This was the highest candle wick. You can see this is the highest candle's wick before we created the low, before we created the new high, right? So that right there is an area of interest for me. This candle right here, specific wick, because it's the highest wick before price came and created a new low, before it created a new high. So hopefully that makes sense. Now we can see, if you look to the right, when price created more structure, before it went up, down, up, when it came back over here, you could see it tapped right back into this area of interest where the price last made a high, and then it started breaking out. So when I think about these area of interest, I think about an arena, or like a place that fighters go to fight, like professional fighters. If you think about professional fighters, they don't ever go to McDonald's to fight. They don't ever go to Wendy's to fight. They don't ever go to Dunkin' Donuts to fight. They go to professional arenas. They go to fight night clubs. They go to boxing gyms. They go to places that are known for fighting, and they'll get paid for fighting, right? In these areas, I think of fighters. There's only two fighters in the markets. There's buyers and there's sellers. There's nobody else that exists in the market. You can't be anything else. There's only two buttons you could press. You could buy or you could sell. So in this case, we can see right here where the sellers started taking over and they pushed price back down. So the sellers were right here in this area of interest and they pushed price down. And then the buyers took over and pushed price up. So now we can see who's in control right here of this area of interest. Who's in control? The buyers, because the buyers no longer decided that this area was strong enough. The sellers could not bring price back down in this area. So now the buyers started to take over this area of interest. So from here, price started creating structure. Structure highs, structure lows, before it came back down and retested the area where the buyers took over. So when price gets back down here, what do we expect? We expect that the buyers are still going to be down here. Why? Because they won the last time. They won the last time against the sellers, right? Imagine if you've seen a fight. You've seen a Conor McGregor fight against, I don't know, whoever you want to call, whichever other UFC fighter you want to see. You've seen Conor McGregor beat this one guy 2 times already. Now they go to fight again. Who do you think is going to probably win? Conor McGregor, because he won the last 2 times. It just makes sense. If he won the last 2 times, the probability of him winning again is pretty high. So that's the same way I look at these areas of interest. If the buyers won the last time, the probability of when it gets to that area of interest again that the buyers are going to win is pretty high. So I'm looking for buys. So I'm thinking about these areas of interest I'm thinking about these areas the same way I think about that area, or the analogy that I just gave you, where the buyers and the sellers are fighting. So these purple boxes that I draw are the areas of interest where buyers and sellers come to fight. And I want to pay attention to these areas because the last time when price was at these areas, what happened? Either sold or they bought. If you could look all the way left, when price came back here, when price came here between these purple lines, price sold off. It went up, sold off. Went up again, sold off. So now when price gets back to the same area of interest, what do I expect? I expect it to sell off because it did it the last 2 times. So now price is back into the area of interest, or is approaching the area of interest. My bias is already sells. Obviously, I don't really always have a bias because I'm a scalper. I get in and out the trade. So I like to drop down to the 15-minute, and I like to do the same kind of analogy that I just did, or analysis that I just did, where I'm looking for areas of interest or points of interest, which I would see. I seen one right here. For this structure high, I want to make this orange because I like to make a difference. I like to see the difference in structure. And I don't really see nothing else that I think is important or that I want to point out on the 15-minute time frame as an area of interest. So from here, I drop down to the 1 minute time frame. On the 1 minute time frame, this is where I'm now looking for an entry, and I only trade after 9:30. Why do I only trade after 9:30? Because I believe that's when the fight starts. The fight starts for me at 9:30. Obviously, it could start for you at any time that you want to, but the fight starts for me at 9:30. That's when the most of the volume comes into the market, and I want to take advantage of price movement or price volume. So let's fast forward a little bit to 9:30. Two candles. We can get right to 9:30. So you can already see that 9:30 is starting to make bearish, kind of bearish support, bearish pressure. So I'm gonna wait till price gets to one of these areas of interest. And as you can see, price got to this area of interest, the 15-minute area of interest right here. And now I'm gonna be looking for buys from this area. I remember this trade because I did take an L on this trade, but follow me. I'm gonna show you when I took a W. And it's all about risk management. You could take an L on the trade and win the next trade and still be up for the day. So this right here, this is where I took my trade. So how do I even take trades? Let me not even skip over that. How do I even take trades? So we had a bearish candle. This is the last bearish candle right here. This was the last bearish candle to enter the area of interest, which is the orange box that I draw, which is the 15-minute area of interest. This is the last one. I want a candle to close above this last candle right here. If I can get a candle to close right above here, it's going to show me what? That the buyers have stepped back into the market. Why? Because they closed above the last bearish candle in the area of interest. So that shows me that the buy-in pressure has now stepped back in. So all I'm waiting for is price to close above the opening of this bearish candle, retest it, and I'm going to take it up. Simple. It's nothing too complicated. If you want to watch more of my videos, it's on my channel, but it's nothing too complicated. So let's fast forward to when I seen price got that first bullish candle. I don't think it happened. It didn't. I don't think it did happen. It didn't. Nope, it didn't. But I think I did take this trade down here, where price stepped into this area of interest down here, this purple area of interest. I probably didn't draw it out well on the 1 hour time frame, but it did touch it, did tap into it. Let me make sure it's all precise. Yep, everything is precise. So you drop down to the 1 minute time frame. You could see that price came back in. We had this bearish candle that tapped into that area of interest. What am I waiting for? I'm waiting for the same thing I told you before the last time. The last bearish candle, I'm waiting for a candle to close above it, much like this bullish engulfing candle that closed above it. I'm waiting for the retest to get back in. I only trade with limit orders. I don't market entry. I never market entry. Why I don't market entry? Because it's a psychological thing. It's like you could be like, oh man, I could wait for it to go just a little bit lower, 2 points lower, and then I'll get in. Or I'll be, it's pushing up a little too high. Maybe I should just wait. It's like
That market entry.
yeah, it's like you
I
second
miss,
guessing yourself
I'll
on
miss
everything
something.
before you
Yeah.
enter the markets. You can get a better entry, or you'd be like, oh, it went too far. I just know where I want to get in. That's where I'm going to get in. So I have limit orders or buy stops or sell stops or whatever. So it just takes away that psychological, mental barrier for me. So I just get in right when the candle turns. So something like this. My stop loss will be down here. So this Fibonacci tool, I tricked it out to be a risk to reward tool where, stop loss is down here. Entry point is right here, and it marks off my TP1, TP2, TP3, all that stuff. That's how I get my trades. Usually I only go for a TP2. Sometimes I go for a TP3. Like say for instance, how much points I'm risking right now is probably above 20 points. If it's above 20 points, yeah, it's above 20 points. It's like 34 points. Anything above 20 points, I'm going for a TP2. If it's under 20 points, I'll go for a TP3 because that means I'm only risking 20 points to get 60. Instead of 30 points, I'm risking 20 points to get 120. You understand? It just doesn't make no sense. Or 90 or whatever. However the math works out. And let me go back real quick. And I want to always manage my risk on every trade, as I tell you guys. It's all about risk management. So what am I waiting for? I'm waiting for the retest of the candle. Something like that. Boom, it's tapped me in at 9:51. The the thing I always say is I want to be in a trade 10 minutes or less. Does it always happen? No. Sometimes the trade goes to 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. Sometimes the trade lasts longer than I want to, but most times it's under 10 minutes, and that's what I like the most. I like this strategy because it's a scalping strategy and it matches my personality because I wouldn't say I'm the most patient person, and I want to be in and out. I'm around the charts from 9 o'clock to 10:30. That's only an hour and a half, so I can't spend that much time around the charts. So the faster I can get in and get out of a trade, it just works with my life. It works with my personality. It works with my schedule. You feel me? So it just makes sense for me. So I got tapped into this trade at 9:51. Let's see how long it takes to get me to TP2, TP1. So it got me to TP1 in 9:51 to 9:54. So about 3 minutes, TP1 hit. For me, once TP1 get hit, I move stop loss to break even. I don't even like if I'm risking $100 on a trade, and then I'm up $100 now. I'm not gonna make that trade come back down and take me out 100. Why? Because to me, it's like I risked 100. So I already got 100 that I'm risking. Now I'm up 100. So now that's $200 on the table. If I make price go all the way back down, I'm risking now $200 instead of $100. So I rather me putting my stop loss to break even, have no risk on the table, and then be able to just be confidently just wait for TP2 to get hit or whatever happens. So in 3 minutes we got TP2 to hit, TP1 to hit. TP2 took a little bit longer. I got stopped out for TP. I got tapped in for TP2 at 10:06 from 9:51 to 10:06. That's about 14 minutes. So I be saying 10 minutes to about 14 minutes, 10 minutes and under, or 15 minutes and under. But sometimes it lasts a little longer. But this was one of those examples of the trade that I was able to get out in a good amount of time and go enjoy the rest of my day, because that's what I think trading is all about. It's the freedom to enjoy your life, not to be trapped around the charts. So yeah, that's pretty much my strategy in its simplest form. If you want to watch any more of my videos where I go into details about my stuff, check me out, man.
Hey man, I like it. I love it. I mean, there's a couple of things I do got a question real quick. Because you mentioned in the beginning when you validating zones. Now, a lot of people on my channel may be looking at supply and demand, but in reality, the way I look at it is supply and demand, support resistance. A lot of these things are similar. A lot of these things are just different terminologies. So when you actually I like to validate everything. And one of the things you mentioned was like go all the way to the left. And you have to now because, the Dow was in a weird position. But how important is validating everything to the left to what's going on now? Like, how important is that to your strategy?
It's very important to me. For me, man, listen, I hate trading all-time highs. Why? Because there's nothing to the left to validate your entries off. Because usually what price does is the same thing every single day. So if you look left, price is going to show you something that it did before that it could possibly do again. But when you're trading at all-time highs, there's nothing to the left. Price has never been here before, so it's hard as hell to make decisions because you don't know what it's going to do, because it doesn't give you a hint on what
Right.
happened in the past or what you can expect to happen in the future. So yeah, everything to the left means a lot to me because that's how I trade.
Yeah, I'm the same exact way. I'm looking to see, I like to validate every reason why price is doing what it's doing. I think that's very important. And then one thing that you did mention, I kind of want you to real quick go a little deeper into that is the BE. Because a lot of people on my channel see the hour time frame. I don't go BE all the time, but something you did just say that kind of hit me was like, hey, if I'm up 101, I'm break even because if I'm risking 100 and I make 100, I'm up 200. Now I'm risking what I got on the table and my initial risk. So you're trying to actually, you want to minimize and have a contained like risk and understand like where that's at. Like how important is that to your strategy?
Yeah, as I said to you, like breaking even allows me to relax. Even sometimes I don't be relaxed. I be capping sometimes, but it does allow me to be feeling at ease with the trade. Why? Because now I know that I have no money on the table. So now if you are risking $1,000 and now you're up $1,000, would you want the market to take back that $1,000 that they already gave you, plus the $1,000 you was willing to risk? Now that hurts because now that's $2,000 that you gave back to the market. $2,000 that you gave to the market. You gave them the the original money that they gave you and the money that you decided that you was willing to put on the table to get that 1,000, right? I'm not gonna take it at the 1-to-1, but at least I know I have no risk on the table, so it gives me a little confidence to keep holding the trade. It gives me a little peace of mind where I can be like, yeah, there's nothing at risk. I don't my account balance is not gonna change if stops
Right,
go back to break even. Everything stays the
right.
same. If anything, I'm up a little bit. You feel me?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, break even for me is I'm implementing it, and the reason is it's a peace of mind, like you said. One of the reasons that I did implement it is because of Keino, because of the VIP network. I'm like, hey, like they utilize that, and it's better. Most even if you're not profiting, it's like understanding you don't gotta be just because you broke even because you lost or because you won a trade does not mean you were right or wrong. It's just following your rules. So, I did want to introduce Keino to y'all, man. It's my guy. He definitely doing things, doing great things, gonna continue to do great things. You want to shout your channel out? I'm gonna put it in the description.
Yeah, my channel is Hi Keino. That's HIIIKEINO. On Instagram, it's the same thing, HIIIKEINO. Follow me. We doing big things over here. We got my guy Divine. He's a part of the movement. I see his movement as well. It's crazy part is before Divine got introduced to us, I already knew about him. I was already watching his videos. I seen it. I was like, oh, that's dope. He's creating content and stuff like that. I seen it, the quality of his videos. I see other content creators and I try to see what
Right,
they're
right.
doing good and try to implement it in what I'm doing. So I seen him shining for a little bit already. So it's a pleasure to finally starting to work with other like-minded individuals and collab and be able to do great work together.
Definitely. Likewise, man, because Keno, you definitely put lit a fire into me. He every day posting. So if y'all need somebody to listen to on the drive, going to work, whatever it is y'all doing, while y'all trading, he dropping videos every morning, got shorts, all that stuff that he putting out. And it's nothing but value. It's all quality content and stuff to help you. One of the main things why I know we both do this is one, because we are in the process of our journey. We know we want to go, but we don't want to go alone. We want to bring people with us. Want to be able to help a ton of people, and that's why we're doing it. So, Keno, I appreciate you, my boy. We're gonna get out of here, man. And make sure y'all hit that subscribe button because we do have a goal. He has a goal to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Don't play with us. We appreciate it. We love y'all. And we'll see y'all soon, man.